Welcome to my sewing and DIY channel. In this video today, I'm going to show you how to make a super cute and fun little drawstring purse, the Tulip bag. The PDF sewing pattern for this little drawstring purse is available as a free download on my website, gwenstellamade.com. So if you think you'd like to make one, then make sure you click on that link in the description box below and download a copy for yourself. And before I jump into the sewing tutorial, I just want to take a minute to share a little bit about the sponsor for this video. Today's video is sponsored by 852 Fabric. 852 Fabric is an independent family-owned fabric business based in Hong Kong. The unique designs are printed using only Architect Standard 100 certified inks, which means they do not contain any substance that may be harmful to human health. For my project in this video, I was given the June subscription box, which features their popular imperial-inspired floral design in 2 colors. I got the woven version of the subscription box, which contains 3 meters of woven cotton, 2 pieces of canvas, and a delightful tin of solid perfume. With plenty of fabric and the extra goodies, the subscription box is such a great value. Everything has been put together with so much love and thought. I think a subscription box like this would be such a nice gift for yourself and a friend who loves to sew. Thank you so much to 852 Fabric for sponsoring the video this week. Now let's go and make something cute with these fabrics. I also want to take a moment to talk a little bit about my design inspiration behind the Tulip bag. So when I saw the imperial inspired floral designs that I was going to receive from 852 Fabric, I immediately thought this print would look really cute as a purse, and I was reminded of this bag called Hebao. The Hebao is basically like a little drawstring satchel kind of a thing that was worn around the waist by the Han Chinese during Imperial China. Side note, I was actually really tempted to call this purse the Han bag. Maybe another time? So you might have also already thought of another type of little drawstring satchel that people used to wear around the waist in the Western world that's very similar to the Hebao. The reticule! I think the idea of wearing a little drawstring pouch around your waist before the advent of pockets is a pretty universal concept. If you know of other similar types of little pouches that people used to wear from other cultures, leave a comment and let me know because I'd love to learn about them. For my modern usage, I wanted my bag to be a little bit more rounded with a little bit more room, and I also wanted to be able to use the 2 colorways of the floral design, and so the 6-segment tulip bag was born. So whether you're into historical costuming, whether you like vintage style, or if you just think that drawstring purses are cute, I hope you enjoy this little free sewing pattern from me. And at the end of the video, I'll also talk a little bit about some ideas for modifying this pattern to make one that is uniquely yours. So let's get to the sewing tutorial. First things first, you need to download the Tulip bag sewing pattern from my website and print it at 100% scale. Check that you have the pattern printed in the right size by using the gauge square. Paste the 2 pages together and cut the pattern pieces for the back body and the back petal out. There's also additional pieces needed for the strap and the drawstring ties. I've decided not to include the pattern piece for the strap because it's really just a rectangle and hey, we get to save a piece of paper. To make the tulip bag, you need about 1/4 yard of the main fabric and less than 1/4 yard of the fabric for the lining and just a teensy-winsy bit of interfacing for the strap. Don't forget to also clip the notches so you have an easier time sewing later. To make one tulip bag, cut the following pieces. The strap is a 14 by 2 inch rectangle, and of course, if you're like me and like to use smaller remnant sections, you can just cut 2 smaller pieces and join them up to make a 14-inch long piece of rectangle. It's totally up to you. For the drawstring ties, cut 2 pieces of 24-inch long ties. You can either use ribbon or bias tape for the drawstring ties. Now let's get started with sewing. We're going to start by sewing 2 pieces of the back body in main fabric right sides together. When you're done, clip the curved seam and press the seam open. Next, add a 3rd piece of the back body in main fabric. Make sure you match them up at this tip right here and use the notches to help you to align the back body pattern pieces as well. And then just like before, clip the curved seam and press the seam open. Repeat the same process with the other 3 pieces of the back body in main fabric, and at this stage you should have 2 halves of the back body in main fabric looking like this. Now we're going to put the 2 halves of the back body right sides together and sew them together. Make sure you have the seams aligned before sewing so that you can get all the seams converge at a single point at the bottom of the bag. And just like before, clip the curved seam and press it open. At this stage, you should have your back body completed and it looks like this. Now we're just going to do all that again, but this time with the lining fabric. And here we have the back body in the lining fabric. Now we're going to baste them wrong sides together. Make sure that the edge of the lining goes about 1/8 inch over the edge of the main back body, like this. This tiny adjustment helps to make sure that the lining is not going to look too baggy on the inside of the bag. Now we're going to start working on sewing the bag petals. Start by sewing 2 bag petal pieces right sides together along this short edge here. Press the seam open and join a 3rd bag petal piece to this to make 1 long petal piece. Repeat this same process with the rest of the bag petal pieces and you will end up with 4 long petal pieces. Take 2 long petal pieces and sew them right sides together along the short edges and the points like this. When working with pointed tips and dips in a pattern piece like this, you might find it helpful to mark out the stitch line first. And when you get to the pointed tip, make sure you kind of have like a single horizontal stitch going across because this helps with getting the tips nice and sharp when you turn the piece inside out later. After that, trim the seam allowance and make sure that you take special care of the tips and the dips. Once you have the petal pieces nicely turned out, press an edge stitch along the seam. To be honest, this step of the entire sewing process took the longest and felt the most tedious. So if you're having a little bit of difficulty over here as well, just remember to go slow and to be kind to yourself. Okay? And now we're going to sew the back petal pieces to the back body. Align the petal pieces to the back body around the opening of the bag and also along the seams that make up the segments of the back body. The long petal pieces are attached to the back body in this manner to create 2 openings for the drawstring ties, and you see how it actually all come together just in a little while. Sew the back petal pieces and the back body together with the 3/8 inch seam allowance and then trim the seam allowance in half and use small zigzag stitches to finish the raw edge. And now we're going to start making the channel for the drawstring ties. Start by pressing the seam allowance towards the tips of the petals. Then fold the back petals downwards towards the main side of the bag. Fold it down so that you get about 1/2 inch wide of back petal left on the inside of the bag body. Pin the petals to the body of the bag so they don't move around too much when you're sewing, and sew 1/2 inch from the folded edge. This creates a 1/2 inch wide drawstring channel for the bag. Because of the thickness and the design of the splits between the two long petal pieces, you may find it easier to sew with the zipper foot and to sew from the main side of the bag body. Now we're going to start working on putting the strap of the bag together. Start by applying interfacing to one of the strap rectangles, then place them right sides together and sew along the long sides of the rectangle with a 3/8 inch seam allowance. Using a safety pin, turn the strap right sides out, press, and edge stitch along the seams. When you're done, the strap of your bag should look like this. And now we're going to attach the bag strap to the back body. This part can be a little confusing, so I'm going to go slow. See the splits right here, the openings for the drawstring ties, they're opposite each other. And the handle for the bag is actually going to be positioned 90 degrees from the splits right here. Pin the strap to the lining of the bag body with the ends of the strap facing towards the opening of the bag. Make sure that the end of the strap is 1/2 inch from the seam between the bag body lining and the bag petal. Stitch the strap in place about 1/4 inch from the raw edge. And make sure you back stitch as well to secure the bag strap to the bag body. After that, fold the strap upwards and out of the bag body and stitch it again about 1/4 inch from the folded edge. Remember to actually fold the petal away from the bag body so you don't stitch the back petal to the bag body by mistake. Obviously, I made that mistake, which is why I'm here telling you not to do exactly what I did. Now I'm going to show you how to make the drawstring ties using a single fold bias tape. Fold the bias tape in half lengthwise, wrong sides together, and simply stitch right down the middle. If you're using a 1/4 inch double fold wide bias tape, then you don't have to do the folding yourself. If you're using ribbon, you can skip this step totally. Final step, we're going to draw the bias tape or the ribbon for that matter into and through the channel in this manner. I don't recommend anything that's wider than 1/4 inch for the final bias tape because the channels are only 1/2 inch wide and 1/4 inch is just like a sweet spot for the function of the bag. But if you're using like a thin and soft ribbon, then you could actually maybe have something a little wider. At the end of the day, it's about whether it's going to be easy for you to draw the ties through the channel and also whether it's going to be easy for you to pull the drawstring opening shut. I wanted to give my purse a little bit of pizzazz and a little bit of bling, so I added a couple of faux pearl beads to my ties. You can either tie the two ends together in a single knot like this, but I couldn't have two bias tape ends going through a single bead, so I ended up having my ends of the ties looking this way. And that's it, you're done. So I don't know about you, but I feel like this design kind of reminds me of a little pineapple as well. Summer is already here, and if you feel like you need a little pineapple-y outfit, I think making the back body using a yellow fabric and the petals using a green fabric will make a really cute little pineapple-shaped drawstring purse. If you're not a fan of tulips, if you're more of a trumpet vine kind of person, then you can also take the pointed tips of the petals and convert that into a rounded scalloped for a more trumpet vine flower type of a silhouette. But hey, maybe you don't like flowers, you like tomatoes, then you can actually shorten the length of the back body pattern piece and make a purse that's a little rounder and something that looks like a tomato. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed this video, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. And if you like this kind of like funky, cutesy, retro type of sewing DIY stuff, then subscribe to my channel because it's kind of what I'm all about. I will see you in the next video for more sewing, DIY, and a little bit of fun. Bye!